20 forgotten fast food chains that are no longer around. Do you remember a time when fast food was wilder, weirder, and much, much cheaper? Before giants like McDonald's or Taco Bell dominated, there were places that were the spot for millions, with unique flavors and unmistakable styles. But time hasn't been kind to all of them. Today, we're going to explore 20 vanished restaurant chains that live on in the memories of those who loved them. Some were once giants, until they were no more. Burger Chef. In the golden age of American fast food, Burger Chef stood tall among its rivals. With over 1,200 locations at its peak, this burger chain was once McDonald's fiercest competitor. Burger Chef pioneered the fun meal, a kid's meal with a toy, which is now known as the Happy Meal. They also introduced the Triple Threat, the nation's first combo meal, and the Works Bar, allowing customers to choose their own burger toppings. An early version of the build-your-own concept later popularized by chains like Five Guys. Their signature sandwich, the Big Chef, once rivaled the Big Mac in both size and popularity, sparking what some food historians call the first true burger war of American fast food. However, despite its innovations, Burger Chef was weakened by poor management decisions. The fatal blow came in the mid-1970s when it was acquired by General Foods, a company with little experience in running restaurants. This lack of expertise led to the chain's decline. By 1982, most locations had been sold to Hardee's. The Burger Chef brand gradually vanished from American roadsides, leaving behind only memories and a few nostalgic TV commercials that occasionally surface online. Although it ceased operating under the Burger Chef name by 1996, a few former locations continue to sell Burger Chef items under different names, like the Chef in Cleveland, Tennessee, keeping a small part of the chain's legacy alive. Howard Johnson's. With its distinctive orange roofs and turquoise cupolas, Howard Johnson's, Hojo's, was once the largest restaurant chain in America for decades, peaking at over 1,000 locations in its heyday. Starting as a humble ice cream stand in Quincy, Massachusetts, the company became a cornerstone of American roadside dining. Howard Johnson's reputation wasn't for speed, but for variety and quality. They were famous for their legendary 28 flavors of ice cream, available half a century before Ben & Jerry's came along. While other chains focused on burgers and fries, Hojo's offered everything from its famous fried clams to sweet frankfurters. Hojo's restaurants became an integral part of the American landscape, like white picket fences, with their easily recognizable signs dotting highways. Howard Johnson's decline paralleled the growth of the U.S. interstate highway system and faster fast food joints popping up along these new routes. As families began to prioritize speed over experience, Hojo's sit-down restaurant model became outdated. Americans shifted to valuing speed over a long dining experience. The very last Howard Johnson's restaurant, located in Lake George, New York, closed its doors in 2017, its closure marking the end of an era in American dining. For baby boomers, the memory of sliding into an orange booth at Howard Johnson's remains a cherished piece of Americana that no modern fast food experience can replicate. Red Barn. Red Barn stood out with its distinctive bright red barn-shaped architecture, complete with a signature sloped roof and a small cupola. This farm-themed chain spread across North America with over 400 locations during the 1960s and 1970s, bringing a touch of rural charm to even the most urban areas. Red Barn's menu featured cleverly named farm-themed items. Their signature burger, the Big Barney, predated McDonald's Big Mac and featured 2 beef patties, special sauce, and toppings, making it a formidable contender in the burger wars. For those with bigger appetites, there was the Barn Buster, a colossal burger. Red Barn was also one of the pioneers to feature a self-service salad bar. Their TV jingle, "When the Hungries hit the Red Barn," became a catchy tune that resonated with a generation. Despite its clever concept and loyal customer base, Red Barn suffered from poor management decisions and changes in ownership. Its parent company, Servomation, prioritized real estate interests over restaurant operations, leading to a lack of support and reduced promotion. When Servomation was acquired by Motel 6, the company showed little interest in running a restaurant chain, leaving Red Barn to flounder. Without proper leadership, franchises began to close throughout the late 1970s. By the mid-1980s, the chain had all but vanished from the American landscape. Sambo's. Starting in 1957 in Santa Barbara, California, Sambo's was a breakfast diner specializing in fluffy pancakes and traditional fare, dominating the American breakfast landscape before IHOP or Denny's were on every corner. Their recipe for success was simple: affordable breakfast served all day, comfortable booths, and a family-friendly atmosphere. The chain boomed across the country, reaching an impressive 1,117 locations in its prime. Their name, though initially a portmanteau of founders Sam Battistone and Newell Bonnet, inadvertently evoked the controversial children's book Little Black Sambo. Despite the founders' insistence that the association was accidental, the restaurant leaned into the connection by decorating its walls with scenes from the story. As the civil rights movement gained momentum in the 1970s, the name became increasingly problematic. Protests and legal challenges over racial insensitivity ensued. Management attempted to rename some restaurants Jolly Tiger or No Place Like Sam's, but the damage was done. Coupled with financial missteps, such as expanding too rapidly and accumulating massive debt, which left the company unable to keep up with payments as high interest rates hit in the late 1970s, the chain filed for bankruptcy in 1981. Most locations either closed or were sold to other chains. Today, only one Sambo's remains in Santa Barbara, a relic of a chain that once had more locations than Burger King at the time. But even this last location changed its name in 2020 due to public outcry following the George Floyd protests. Lum's. Lum's stood out with its unique beer-steamed hot dogs, a peculiar cooking method that became the bedrock of the chain's success, growing to over 400 locations nationwide. Their beer-soaked hot dogs became so famous that people would drive for miles just to try one, proving that sometimes the weirdest culinary ideas become the most beloved. Founded by Stuart and Clifford Pearlman in Miami, Florida, Lum's began as a hot dog stand, but quickly evolved into a full-service restaurant. Hot dogs weren't their only draw. The Ollie Burger, named after the chef who created its special seasoning, also garnered its own fervent fan base. Restaurant interiors featured darkwood panels, stained glass, and a cozy pub-like atmosphere. The beginning of the end came when the Pearlman brothers sold Lum's in 1971 to the same company that owned Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas for $4 million. The new owners understood casinos, but struggled with restaurants. After several ownership changes, Lum's faced financial issues and the chain began to crumble. Locations closed one by one throughout the late 1970s and early 1980s, leading to bankruptcy in 1982. The very last location closed in 2017, though another source stated it held out until 2009 in Bellevue, Nebraska, serving those famous beer-steamed hot dogs until its final days. While the recipe is lost to time, rumors persist that some former employees still make them at home, keeping the flavor alive even if the restaurants are long gone. Do you remember the signature taste of any of these chains? Which one makes you the most nostalgic? Henry's Hamburgers. When you think of fast food giants, McDonald's probably comes to mind first. But there was a time when Henry's Hamburgers had more locations than the Golden Arches. Founded as a business offshoot of Bresler's Ice Cream Company, Henry's boomed across America with a simple business model: sell delicious 10-cent hamburgers, and watch the money roll in. At its peak in the early 1960s, Henry's boasted over 200 locations, compared to McDonald's, 150. Their menu was refreshingly simple: hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, and Bresler's ice cream. No fancy sauces or complicated ordering systems, just straightforward, tasty fast food served in paper wrappers. Many locations featured car hop service, where young employees would deliver food directly to your car window. So what happened? In short, the drive-thru. While Henry's was perfecting car hop service, McDonald's was pioneering the drive-thru window. Customers increasingly preferred the speed and privacy of a drive-thru over the car hop experience. By the late 1960s, Henry's had lost ground, and the 1970s oil crisis delivered the final blow. Today, only one Henry's Hamburgers remains operational in Benton Harbor, Michigan, serving its original recipe, burgers, to nostalgic patrons and curious food tourists. This sole survivor stands as a 1950s Americana time capsule, proof that sometimes staying small and true to your roots is the secret to long-term survival in the fast food world. Gino's Hamburgers. Football and fast food might seem like a strange combination, but it proved to be a winning formula for Gino's Hamburgers. Founded in 1957 by football legend Gino Marchetti, defensive end for the Baltimore Colts, along with a few teammates, this chain brought celebrity appeal to the burger business decades before celebrity-owned restaurants became common. Who could resist a burger endorsed by football heroes? The chain started in Baltimore, but quickly expanded throughout the East Coast, eventually reaching over 350 locations. Their signature sandwich, the colossal Gino Giant, came with the slogan, "Everybody goes for a giant at Gino's," and seriously rivaled the Big Mac. What made Gino's unique was its blend of fast food and sports culture. Restaurants were decorated with football memorabilia, and infrequent visits by Colts players turned dinner at Gino's into an event. Gino's secured the very first Kentucky Fried Chicken (KFC) franchises in the region, converting many Gino's restaurants into combo locations, serving both burgers and the Colonel's famous fried chicken. This dual menu approach boosted profits and helped the chain expand rapidly throughout the 1960s and early 1970s. The success story ended in 1982 when the Marriott Corporation bought Gino's for $48 million and converted most locations into Roy Rogers restaurants. The football players turned restaurateurs cashed in, and the Gino's name vanished from the landscape. A rebooted version of Gino's still exists in Maryland, with just 2 locations. White Tower Hamburgers. If imitation is the sincerest form of flattery, then White Castle must have felt incredibly flattered by White Tower. This copycat chain didn't just borrow ideas, they essentially cloned White Castle's entire concept, from building design to employee uniforms. White Tower's founders saw White Castle's success with small, square burgers served in distinctive white buildings and thought, let's do exactly that but change one word in the name. That audacity worked, at least for a while. White Tower expanded to over 230 locations, primarily in the Midwest and East Coast. Their sliders cost only 5 cents in the early days, making them affordable even during the Great Depression. The buildings featured distinctive white exteriors with castle-like turrets, a design that made them easily recognizable from blocks away. White Castle was not pleased with the imitation and sued White Tower in 1937 for copyright infringement. The court ordered White Tower to change its building design and cease copying White Castle's marketing materials. This forced rebranding, combined with changing dining trends after World War II, began the chain's slow decline. Unlike many other forgotten chains, White Tower didn't vanish in a dramatic bankruptcy. Instead, it slowly faded away, one location at a time, throughout the 1970s. The very last White Tower closed in Toledo, Ohio in 2004, ending 78 years of burger imitation. Dog N Suds. Nothing quite captured the carefree spirit of 1950s America like a drive-in restaurant, and Dog N Suds perfected that formula. This chain specialized in two American classics, hot dogs and root beer, served right to your car window by car hops, often on roller skates. At its peak, over 600 Dog N Suds locations dotted the American landscape, transforming parking lots into social hubs where teenagers congregated in their cars. The chain began as a single spot in Champaign, Illinois, founded by two music teachers looking for a summer business. Their homemade root beer recipe became so popular that they abandoned teaching to focus on expansion. Dog N Suds grew through a franchise model that allowed local entrepreneurs to bring the concept to their communities, spreading rapidly throughout the Midwest. What made Dog N Suds special wasn't just the food, but the experience. Car hops would clip a metal tray to your car window, and you could enjoy your meal without ever leaving your vehicle. The Texas Burger, Coney Dog, and their signature frosty root beer created a simple yet irresistible menu that kept customers coming back. As car culture faded in the 1970s, replaced by drive-thru service, Dog N Suds began to struggle. The original owners sold the company, and under new management, the chain rapidly contracted. Today, approximately 14 locations persist as independently owned restaurants, still serving that famous root beer in frosty mugs. Sandy's. A Scottish-themed burger chain might sound odd, but Sandy's fully embraced plaid patterns, bagpipes in their commercials, and a mascot named Sandy, dressed in full Scottish regalia. This chain started when a group of disgruntled McDonald's franchisees decided to break away and start their own restaurant concept, bringing their fast food know-how to a new brand with Highland flair. The Scottish theme wasn't a random choice. It was a deliberate effort to stand out from other burger joints in an increasingly competitive landscape. At its peak, Sandy's grew to over 200 locations across the Midwest, with a particularly strong presence in Illinois, Iowa, and Missouri. Their thick burgers and Scottish treat dessert built a loyal following among families looking for affordable meals in a unique setting. Unlike many other failed chains, Sandy's didn't necessarily run into trouble when it vanished. In 1972, the company agreed to merge with Hardee's, another growing burger chain with a similar menu. The merger made business sense, creating a larger company that could better compete with the industry's giants. But it meant the end of the Sandy's brand. By 1979, the last Sandy's restaurant had either closed or converted to a Hardee's. If you could bring back just one of these vanished restaurant chains, which one would it be, and why? Carrols. The story of Carrols is one of reinvention, not failure. This chain began as a drive-in restaurant called Carrols in the Syracuse, New York area, serving a menu that would look familiar to anyone who's ever eaten at a diner. Burgers, hot dogs, seafood, and ice cream. Their mascot, a cartoon boy with a giant hamburger for a head, appeared on signs and in commercials, smiling despite having a burger for a face. With over 150 locations across the Northeast and Puerto Rico, Carrols built a significant following. Their club burger, a clear answer to rival signature sandwiches, developed its own dedicated fan base. Restaurant interiors featured the distinctive orange and brown tones of the 1970s, complete with wood paneling and molded plastic seating that defined the era's style. Instead of vanishing like many chains on this list, Carrols made a strategic pivot. In 1976, the company converted most of its restaurants into Burger King franchises. This wasn't a failure, but a deliberate business move that transformed Carrols Corporation from a restaurant brand into one of the largest restaurant operators in the U.S. The name Carrols itself disappeared from restaurant signs, but the company behind it thrived by becoming the largest Burger King franchisee in the United States. This is arguably the most successful failure in fast food history, a brand that vanished by choice, not by necessity, trading its identity for the power of a larger brand while maintaining its business acumen behind the scenes. Royal Castle. Believe it or not, Florida once had a castle of its own. No moats or knights, just delicious little burgers and frosty birch beer. Royal Castle, founded in 1938 by William Singer in sunny Miami, quickly became the South's answer to the North's White Castle, capturing hearts with its small, square, onion-steamed burgers and fresh orange juice. Along with those craveable mini burgers, Royal Castle also delighted customers with hearty breakfasts that kept diners coming back morning after morning. In the booming 1960s, Royal Castle's neon signs lit up streets in Florida, Georgia, Ohio, and Louisiana, proudly operating over 175 bustling locations. Good times don't last forever, though. As fast food giants like McDonald's and Burger King flooded the market in the 1970s, Royal Castle struggled to keep up. Things took a turn for the worse in 1969, when Performance Systems took over ownership, only to face money troubles and declining standards soon after. Quality dwindled, loyal customers drifted away, and by 1975, the once thriving chain quietly closed its doors, leaving behind only fond memories. Today, only a single Royal Castle restaurant still operates in Miami, Florida, serving the same sliders and birch beer to nostalgic patrons, a last relic of a bygone era. Pup N Taco. What if I told you there was once a place bold enough to serve hot dogs and tacos under the same roof, and somehow made it work? Pup N Taco burst onto the California food scene in 1956. Conceived by Russell Wendell as a humble drive-in in sunny Pasadena, it wasn't long before its quirky menu of crispy tacos, juicy burgers, flavorful pastrami sandwiches, and perfectly grilled hot dogs made it an instant local favorite. Families would pull into the lot, laughing over sweet, frosty milkshakes and sipping refreshing RC colas under neon lights that bathed the night sky. At its peak, Pup N Taco proudly operated over 100 locations throughout Southern California and even a few beloved spots in Albuquerque, New Mexico. But success can attract powerful rivals, and by the 1980s, skyrocketing real estate prices coupled with fierce competition from giants like McDonald's and Taco Bell spelled trouble. Recognizing an opportunity, Taco Bell swooped in, acquiring 99 prime Pup N Taco locations in 1984, gradually erasing the brand from the fast food map. The very last remaining Albuquerque location quietly closed its doors in 2013, leaving behind only memories, wonderfully weird memories, of a daring eatery that combined unthinkable flavors and made every meal a memorable adventure. Doggie Diner. Never underestimate the power of a good mascot. This is probably why the little-known hot dog and burger chain Doggie Diner lives on in the memories of Californians to this day. Doggie Diner featured an adorable dachshund dog head that greeted guests to their chain of restaurants, and it still stands today as a San Francisco national landmark. Even the San Francisco Giants baseball team has used the Doggie Diner name for the hot dogs they serve in their park. Doggie Diner was in operation from 1948 and officially closed in 1986 after 38 years of business. By serving high-quality food, it quickly became a favorite spot. Everyone craved Doggie Diner's hot dogs, hamburgers, pastrami sandwiches, and impossibly thick milkshakes. It was a small fast food chain serving hot dogs and hamburgers in San Francisco and Oakland, California. Doggie Diner's popularity stemmed not only from its food quality, but also from the iconic dachshund dog sign, a symbol of fun and friendliness that customers found unforgettable. Do you remember any mascots from vanished fast food chains? Let us know. Chi-Chi's. It's truly no surprise that Chi-Chi's permanently closed its doors in the U.S., founded in Minnesota in 1974. This Mexican restaurant and salsa bar chain faced bankruptcy. At its peak, it had 210 locations across the United States. Adding to their woes, Chi-Chi's also experienced the largest hepatitis A outbreak in U.S. history. This incident, stemming from contaminated green onions in 2003, caused severe reputational and financial damage to the chain, leading to hundreds of illnesses and several deaths. Ultimately, Outback Steakhouse acquired most of the restaurant's assets. The chain exited the United States in 2004, and all its locations closed due to bankruptcy. What's remarkable about Chi-Chi's is that the chain still has operating locations in Belgium, Luxembourg, Austria, the United Arab Emirates, and Kuwait, suggesting its business model might be better suited for international markets. While some Redditors debate whether Chi-Chi's was truly fast food, given its inclusion in other vanished fast food chain lists, we'll still feature it in this video, highlighting the diversity of restaurant types that are no longer with us. Chi-Chi's is a clear example of how a major public health incident can devastate a restaurant chain, even at a large scale. Delights. We are here for a health-conscious fast food joint. This is our official thank you to Delights for being ahead of its time. This chain, founded in Georgia in the late 1970s, offered lean beef, high-fiber buns, and low-fat cheese, providing healthier alternatives and ingredients in a world of greasy drive-ins and delicious barbecue. In a way, Delights were pioneers, attempting to reshape the fast food industry toward health benefits at a time when diet and nutrition concepts weren't widely prevalent in the industry. However, an unfortunate chain of events led the company to file for bankruptcy in 1987. They couldn't compete once larger chains like McDonald's and Burger King also started serving healthy options, eroding Delight's initial competitive edge. In an ironic twist, many remaining Delight's locations were converted into Hardee's, one of the least healthy fast food options available, demonstrating the difficulty of sustaining a healthy fast food business model when larger competitors also enter the market. Though no longer in existence, Delight's remains a memorable example of an attempt to reshape the fast food industry toward health benefits, an idea that only truly gained traction decades later. Farrell's Ice Cream Parlor. Not many restaurants announce your dessert with a siren, drums, and cheering crowds, but Farrell's Ice Cream Parlor was never a normal restaurant. Founded in 1963 by Bob Farrell and Ken McCarthy in Portland, Oregon, Farrell's quickly captured America's heart and sweet tooth with its extravagant ice cream creations and festive atmosphere. Every visit felt like stepping into a bustling 1890s carnival, complete with antique decor, a tinkling player, piano, and smiling staff in vibrant period costumes. The star attraction, famously known as the Zoo, was a colossal ice cream sundae paraded through the restaurant with dramatic fanfare, delighting children and adults alike. By 1975, Farrell's popularity soared, expanding to over 120 locations nationwide. However, after Marriott gained control in 1972, the magic slowly faded, unable to withstand changing tastes and fierce competition. While a nostalgic revival sparked brief interest in the 2000s, the final chapter quietly closed in Brea, California, in 2019, ending a beloved American tradition of unforgettable celebrations, laughter, and desserts, served with unparalleled excitement. Minnie Pearl's Chicken. They say Minnie Pearl's chicken was finger-licking good, when they remembered to cook it properly, that is. Named after the beloved country comedian Minnie Pearl, whose real name was Sarah Ophelia Colley Cannon, this quirky fried chicken chain popped up in 1966. Launched by two ambitious Nashville, Tennessee lawyers, Minnie Pearl's Chicken hoped to ride America's burgeoning fried chicken wave, daringly competing with Colonel Sanders himself. From its playful logo featuring Minnie's signature straw hat to its friendly Southern hospitality, people quickly lined up to give it a try. In just a few short years, over 100 franchises sprung up across the country. But funny enough, success didn't follow. Unfortunately, consistency wasn't Minnie Pearl's strong suit. Sometimes the fried chicken was crispy and delicious, while other times it seemed they'd forgotten the fryer altogether. A lack of quality control and standardized recipes was a major issue. Behind the scenes, things got even messier with allegations of inflated revenues and shady stock manipulation. By 1970, most locations had closed, and the company filed for bankruptcy in 1971. This spectacular flop is so famous that business schools have studied it as a case study of how not to expand a restaurant chain. The chain's rapid collapse stands as one of the quickest and most dramatic bankruptcies in fast food history, a stark reminder of the importance of quality and transparent management. Wags. What comes to mind when you think of the pharmacy and convenience store brand Walgreens? How about sit-down dining? That was the idea behind Wags, a 24-hour diner chain owned and operated by the folks at Walgreens. They operated mainly in the 1970s and 1980s and tried their best to compete with other big names in that market like Denny's. Wags offered traditional diner fare like burgers and breakfasts, aiming to serve customers at all hours of the day. Unfortunately for Walgreens, the idea of dining in a place with a similar logo to where you bought your cold medicine just didn't catch on. Although Wags offered standard diner meals, customers just didn't seem to warm to the idea of eating at a drug-store-affiliated location. The chain was sold to the Marriott Hotel Corporation in 1988. Any remaining Wags locations were eventually closed and turned into places like Shaniai's or IHOP. Wags completely closed down by 1991. Though Wags is long gone, the memories linger. Late-night laughs, greasy pancakes at dawn, and the surprising legacy of a pharmacy giant that once served comfort alongside prescriptions. Steak and Ale. Did you know there was once a restaurant that revolutionized American dining, only to vanish almost overnight? Back in 1966, Norman E. Brinker opened Steak and Ale in Dallas, Texas, forever changing the casual dining landscape. Imagine stepping into a cozy, dimly lit English pub with exposed wooden beams, candle-lit tables, and the tantalizing aroma of herb-roasted prime rib filling the air. They pioneered the all-you-can-eat salad bar, a revolutionary concept at the time. At its 1980s peak, this beloved steakhouse empire expanded to nearly 280 bustling locations, winning hearts with its Kensington Club steak and groundbreaking unlimited salad bar. However, tastes shifted in the 1990s, competition grew fiercer, and even bold marketing moves and budget-friendly menu tweaks couldn't stop its decline. Finally, in 2008, Steak and Ale served its last meal and quietly disappeared. But nostalgia has immense power, and good ideas rarely vanish forever. Remarkably, in 2024, Steak and Ale made an emotional comeback, opening new restaurants across Texas and the Midwest, blending beloved classics with fresh innovations to recapture the spirit of an era many still fondly remember. While these restaurant chains no longer exist on the modern culinary map, their flavors and memories live on in the hearts of those who experienced them. They are an indispensable part of American culinary history and a testament to the experimentation and innovation of the fast food industry. 25 meals we miss from our 70s dinner table. The 70s were not just a time of bell-bottoms and slow-spinning vinyl records, but also a time of warm family meals, full of unforgettable flavors and memories. It was a place where everyone shared stories of their day, laughed, and enjoyed simple dishes that held a whole sky of love. Today, we will take a trip back in time, returning to the kitchens and dinner tables of those years, to discover the dishes that once created the flavors of childhood and the warm evening gatherings of so many families. Beef and rice stuffed cabbage rolls. Let's begin our journey with a dish that once warmed the hearts of many generations. Beef and rice stuffed cabbage rolls. Do you remember those days when Mom or Grandma spent hours in the kitchen? The scent of ground beef, rice, and tomatoes blended, permeating each tender cabbage leaf, then simmered for a long time until all the flavors soaked in. This was truly an easy one-pot meal, but the flavor was rich, as if it had been stewing in the kitchen all day long. This cabbage roll dish, though simple, brought a warmth and fullness that only meals prepared with dedication could provide. Back then, hot plates of cabbage rolls were placed on the table, and the whole family gathered around, everyone inhaling the appealing aroma. This dish might not have been overly elaborate, but it contained convenience and complete nutrition, making it easier for homemakers to ensure family meals were always wholesome. Pasta primavera. Next is a dish that brought a fresh breeze to the 70s dinner table, pasta primavera. As tastes began to lean towards fresher, lighter options after traditional stews, pasta primavera became a symbol of innovation. This pasta dish combines colorful fresh vegetables and a rich Parmesan cheese sauce, offering a meal that is both nutritious and visually appealing. Imagine, on a summer evening in the 70s, a plate of primavera pasta filled with the green of broccoli, the red of tomatoes, the yellow of corn, all mixed with chewy noodles and a rich, creamy sauce. That was when cuisine began to open up to ideas from outside, and pasta primavera, with its freshness and vibrancy, quickly won hearts. The emergence of this dish quickly demonstrated a change in eating habits, from heavier meals to lighter and more refined choices. This dish often appeared at small parties or on evenings when you wanted to enjoy a bit of Mediterranean flavor at home without having to go anywhere far. Easy chow mein. Do you remember the aroma of chow mein stir-frying in the pan, or the excitement of knowing you would be eating this exotic noodle dish for dinner tonight? This Asian dish was not only easy to make, but also very convenient, often prepared to welcome loved ones home from the hospital, and could even be frozen for later use. It represented a cultural culinary exchange and convenience, especially when you needed a quick meal that was still full of flavor. In the 70s, as the world seemed to shrink through media and travel, cuisine also began to undergo strong transformations. Asian dishes, of which chow mein is a prime example, found a firm place in American family kitchens. The harmonious, sweet and savory flavor of the sauce, the crispness of the vegetables, and the tender noodles created an appealing dish for all ages. For many busy families, easy chow mein was like a lifesaver, allowing them to enjoy a delicious, international meal without spending too much time preparing. Many chefs also found ways to diversify this dish to bring new and exciting flavors, attracting the children in the family. Turkey a la king with rice. Do you remember how we used leftovers? Turkey a la king with rice was an easy dish made from leftover turkey, which could be served with rice, pasta, biscuits, or toast. Instead of discarding it, turkey slices were transformed into a rich, creamy stew with vegetables like peas, carrots, and mushrooms, all blended in a rich, creamy sauce. This dish could be served with white rice, pasta, baked biscuits, or even toast, offering maximum flexibility and convenience. From leftover food items, we could easily create a delicious and nutritious turkey a la king. Do you remember the warm feeling of the whole family finishing off the leftover turkey deliciously? Those were memories of the practicality, yet affection of 70s cuisine. Santa Fe skillet. With the increasing pace of life, one-pan dishes like Santa Fe skillet became a go-to for many families. This was a timeless recipe, quick and easy to prepare, especially suitable for full-time working mothers. It offered rich flavors, combining simple ingredients into a complete and delicious meal. Imagine all the ingredients: ground meat, beans, corn, tomatoes, and spices put into a large skillet and cooked together, creating a colorful and flavorful meal in just one go. This dish not only saved time, but also reduced dishwashing, a big advantage for busy families. The flavors of the Southwest, with a hint of spicy chili and the richness of cheese, blended into every bite of meat and vegetables. Weekday, chicken cacciatore. Finally, on our list of 24 memorable dishes is weekday chicken cacciatore. This hunter-style chicken dish with tomatoes, mushrooms, onions, and spices, with a touch of white wine for a northern Italian flair. This was a classic Italian dish, loved by families for its rich flavor and convenience. This weekday version made it more accessible for busy evenings, giving the feeling of a restaurant meal right at home. To prepare this dish, chicken pieces would be slow cooked in a rich tomato sauce with mushrooms, onions, bell peppers, and typical Italian spices, perhaps with a little white wine to add depth of flavor. This dish could be served with pasta, polenta, or rice, creating a complete and appealing meal. Chicken cacciatore was delicious and very nutritious, an excellent choice for everyday dinner. If you loved the style or flavors of Italian cuisine, then this dish was made for you. Gradually, people began to prepare cacciatore more uniquely, combining tradition and convenience, allowing families to enjoy restaurant flavors at home without much effort. This image surely brings back to many the pungent aroma of tomato sauce and Italian herbs when chicken cacciatore was simmering on the stove. Tuna noodle casserole. When talking about the convenience and economy of the 70s, tuna noodle casserole must be mentioned. With creamy sauce, tender pasta, and flaked tuna, this was a staple in many American families. The combination of egg noodles, canned cream, of mushroom soup, and frozen peas created a convenient yet filling and satisfying dish. What could be better than having Mom prepare tuna noodle casserole after school? This dish was very familiar in 70s kitchens because it could be made in advance, baked when needed, and often had enough for the whole family with leftovers. Tangy tropical chicken. With the explosion of new flavors, tangy tropical chicken brought a fresh breeze to the 70s dinner table. Tender chicken pieces, cooked with sweet fresh mango and pineapple, all blended in a rich sweet and sour sauce with a hint of soy sauce. The vibrant colors of the fruit and chicken created an incredibly appealing culinary picture. This dish was very exotic, bringing a feeling of traveling right at home. Because the aroma of tropical fruits blended with chicken would make you feel like you were sitting on a sunny beach. It was the perfect choice for evenings when you wanted to escape monotony and enjoy something truly special. Slow cooker pork and sauerkraut. The slow cooker was a wonderful invention of the 70s, making it easier for homemakers to prepare meals. Slow cooker. Pork and sauerkraut was a prime example, a dish that simplified busy lives, helping families have a hearty meal quickly. It brought a warm country flavor, reminding us of relaxed meals without needing to rush. Just put pork and sauerkraut in the pot, turn on the slow cook setting, and a few hours later, you'd have a delicious, fall-apart tender meal without having to stand by the stove. The refreshing tartness of sauerkraut combined with the rich flavor of pork, creating a wonderful balance. This dish was often prepared on weekends or when you wanted a hearty meal without worrying about time. For many people, the distinctive aroma of braised pork with pickled cabbage as it simmers in the slow cooker, or the comforting feeling of enjoying each piece of tender meat that melts in their mouth, will be unforgettable. Frito pie. Frito pie was unlike any other dish. It was a legendary Southwestern American dish, spicy, savory, and cheesy, with a crispy Frito corn chip crust. Imagine a layer of crispy Frito corn chips at the bottom, topped with rich chili con carne, then covered with melted cheese and optionally topped with chopped onions, jalapenos, or sour cream. This dish was often found at sports events, fairs, or outdoor parties, but also frequently appeared on family dinner tables as an exciting twist. It brought a feeling of fun, comfort, and energy. Salmon patties. Next is a smart choice for families who wanted to eat fish while still ensuring its appeal, especially to young children. Salmon patties. Salmon patties were easy to make, loved by the whole family, with the fresh flavors of lemon and dill. In the 70s, as health and nutrition awareness began to increase, salmon became a recommended ingredient. However, not every child liked to eat fish. Therefore, salmon patties emerged as an excellent solution. The crispy exterior contrasted with the tender, moist interior, offering an exciting taste experience. Salmon patties were not only delicious, but also very convenient, easy to prepare for everyday dinner. They were a great way to add omega-3s and protein to the family's diet. Hawaiian pork chops. The combination of sweet pineapple and pork in Hawaiian pork chops made tropical dishes popular during this period. This was a quick, easy-to-make dish with a unique sweet and sour taste, similar to Hawaiian pizza, a lifesaver for busy evenings that still wanted a unique flavor. As the concept of tropical paradise became more popular through movies and TV shows, cuisine also began to reflect that trend. Grilled or pan-fried pork chops with fresh pineapple slices and a sweet and sour sauce created a balanced, exotic flavor. The refreshing tartness of pineapple cut through the richness of the pork chops, providing a refreshing taste experience. For busy homemakers, Hawaiian pork chops were an excellent choice for a quick meal that was still full of nutrients and distinctive flavor. The aroma of grilled pineapple and pork blended, transporting you to a sunny beach right in your kitchen. Stuffed peppers for four. Colorful bell peppers stuffed with meat and rice were a familiar sight on 70s dinner tables. Stuffed peppers for four. This was a complete meal with vegetables, meat, pasta, likely referring to the rice filling mixture, and sauce, all stuffed into tender bell peppers. Stuffed peppers were a classic dish, loved for their perfect combination of food groups and versatile variations. Imagine vibrant green, red, and yellow bell peppers, filled with a rich ground meat mixture blended with rice, spices, and tomato sauce. Then baked or simmered until the peppers were tender and the filling cooked through. The aroma of baked bell peppers and meat filling wafted through the kitchen, creating a cozy and familiar atmosphere. This dish was a typical example of creativity in utilizing available ingredients to create a complete and appealing meal. It was both nutritious and convenient, helping homemakers prepare a delicious meal without too many complex steps. Ground beef stroganoff. Next is ground beef stroganoff, a European-style dish that was very popular in the US. This improved version, lighter and called special noodles in many families, made it more accessible to busy families, offering a creamy and alluring flavor. Traditional beef stroganoff often used sliced beef, but this ground beef version simplified the recipe, turning it into a quicker and more convenient dish for everyday dinner. Imagine ground beef quickly sautéed with mushrooms and onions, then mixed with a rich, creamy sauce, and usually served with egg noodles. The rich flavor of the meat, the richness of the cream, and the tenderness of the noodles blended together, creating an incredibly appealing and comforting dish. Stroganoff was a comfort food dish, helping you feel warm and full after a long day. This dish must have been a go-to for many mothers, due to its ease of preparation while still ensuring deliciousness and the whole family's enjoyment. Did you ever try this dish when you were a kid? Turkey scallopini with marsala sauce. Turkey wasn't just for Thanksgiving. This elegant dish frequently appeared at special dinners, showcasing a blend of traditional cuisine and a touch of 70s modernity. This scallopini took turkey to a new level, transforming it into a fancy yet very easy-to-make dish at home. Imagine thin slices of turkey, quickly pan-seared until golden, then covered with a rich, slightly sweet marsala sauce with flavors of mushrooms and wine. This dish was often served with pasta or rice, a perfect combination of protein and carbohydrates, providing a complete and delicious meal. Turkey scallopini with marsala sauce exemplified how American families in the 70s weren't afraid to try new recipes, bringing diversity and sophistication to everyday meals. Chuck Wagon tortilla stack. The 70s also saw the rise of dishes inspired by the American Southwest, and Chuck Wagon tortilla stack is a typical example. This was a specialty that was easy to slice and remove from the pan, bringing adventurous flavor and coziness in a family meal. This Chuck Wagon tortilla stack evoked memories of expeditions, journeys across the vast prairies of the West, even if you were just sitting in your kitchen. Layers of soft tortillas alternated with rich ground meat, melted cheese, and perhaps a hint of spicy salsa, creating a meal full of flavor and texture. This dish was very popular due to the variety of its layered ingredients. It was a great way to turn simple ingredients into an exciting meal, suitable for weekend evenings when the whole family wanted to enjoy something both new and familiar. Does it remind you of weekend evenings, when the whole family watched cowboy movies and enjoyed a dish with a distinctly Western style? Pepper steak. Next is a 70s classic, appealing not only for its flavor, but also for its eye-catching colors on the dinner table: pepper steak. Popular in Nebraska, this dish was a perfect combination of tender beef and crisp vegetables, reminiscent of hearty dinners. Imagine a colorful plate of pepper steak, the bright red of bell peppers, the green of scallions, and the glistening brown of tender beef slices. This dish would surely burst with flavor in your mouth. Pepper steak became a top choice in the 70s due to its incredibly easy and delicious recipe. It was easy to prepare after a day's work, and more importantly, it was rich in protein and vitamins. The aroma of black pepper, garlic, and rich sauce infused into every piece of beef, creating an unforgettable flavor. This dish was often served with hot rice, a perfect combination for a cozy dinner. Perhaps you still remember the feeling of your mother serving you a hot plate of pepper steak, with steam rising and its fragrant aroma spreading throughout the room, signaling a delicious meal awaiting. Among the dishes just mentioned, which was your favorite growing up, and why? Share your memories in the comments section below. Cassoulet for today. Cassoulet, the hearty French stew, was modernized in the 70s to suit a busier lifestyle. Cassoulet for today was a simplified version of the dish that retained traditional flavors without taking too much time. It still maintained its warmth, nourishment, and was a great choice for chilly evenings. Traditional cassoulet was a dish that required a lot of time and effort to prepare, but with this modernized version, it became more accessible to American families. Imagine a pot full of white beans, meat, could be sausage, pork, duck, and vegetables, all slow-cooked in a rich sauce. Although the cooking time was shortened, this dish still retained the warmth, rich flavor, and comforting feel characteristic of cassoulet. Cassoulet for today was a testament to flexibility in cuisine, showing that even the most complex dishes could be adapted to fit modern life while retaining their essence. Chicken Caesar Florentine. Caesar salad was a trendy dish of the 70s, and transforming it into a cozy dish like Chicken Caesar Florentine was an example of culinary creativity. This chicken dish combined crispy croutons, Parmesan cheese, chicken, and creamy Caesar dressing, a blend of salad elegance and main course heartiness. In the 70s, Caesar salad was a symbol of sophistication and trendiness, but Americans always found ways to turn favorite dishes into more convenient and substantial versions. Chicken Caesar Florentine was born from that idea. Imagine tender grilled or pan-seared chicken slices covered with a rich, creamy Caesar dressing, then sprinkled with Parmesan cheese and crispy croutons. This dish could have spinach, Florentine, added for extra nutrition and color. It offered the elegance of a salad, but was hearty and satisfying enough as a main course. If you had a cookbook from the 70s, which recipe among the ones we just mentioned would you most want to find? Let us know in the comments. Creamy scallop crepes. Crepes, a dish that seemed to belong only in luxurious restaurants, found their way into family kitchens, especially for holidays or special evenings. You could add a little fresh dill for extra flavor. In the 70s, as families began to trend towards bringing a bit of restaurant flavor home, dishes like creamy scallop crepes became popular. Imagine thin, soft crepes, skillfully rolled with fresh, delicious scallops in a rich, creamy sauce. This dish was not only delicious, but also very visually appealing, showing the sophistication of the home chef. This dish was often prepared for small parties, important gatherings, or simply when the family wanted to treat themselves to a truly special meal. The aroma of fresh scallops and creamy sauce, combined with the gentle hint of dill, would surely evoke memories of warm, elegant, yet family-filled evenings. Tender steak fajitas. Fajitas, a dish bringing vibrant Mexican flavors, began to gain popularity in the 70s. Tender steak fajitas featured succulent, richly flavored beef when cooked in a slow cooker, often served with Spanish rice. As international cuisine gradually entered and enriched American dinner tables, fajitas emerged as a phenomenon. The special appeal of fajitas lay not only in the rich flavor of perfectly marinated and grilled beef, but also in the interactive dining experience it offered. The whole family could gather around the table, each person assembling their own hot tortillas with beef, bell peppers, sautéed onions, and favorite sauces. The aroma of grilled beef, Mexican spices, and freshly made tortillas created a festive atmosphere right at home. Fajitas brought a breath of fresh air, breaking the monotony of traditional meals and encouraging everyone to experiment with new flavors. Do you remember those small home parties with the sizzling sound of fajitas on a hot cast iron pan? Or the times the whole family debated who made the prettiest tortilla wrap? Those were memories of the fun, dynamism, and memorable flavors of the 70s. Stovetop goulash. Traditional Hungarian goulash was famous for its rich flavor and warmth. This stovetop version was adjusted to be quicker to prepare for everyday dinner. Imagine ground or diced beef stewed with pasta, tomatoes, onions, and a special blend of spices, especially paprika, creating a dish with an appealing color and unforgettable flavor. This dish was not only easy to make, but also very versatile. You could add other vegetables according to your preference. Stovetop goulash offered that characteristic comfort food feeling, ideal for chilly evenings when you wanted a truly warm and filling meal. During this period, international dishes were Americanized to suit tastes and lifestyles. Salisbury steak. Next is a classic dish, reminiscent of Sunday dinners at restaurants or in family kitchens: Salisbury steak. The Salisbury steak recipe was recreated to resemble the flavor of a childhood celebratory meal. Salisbury steak wasn't a regular steak, but a type of ground beef patty shaped like a steak, then pan-fried or baked and covered with a rich mushroom or onion gravy. This dish was often served with mashed potatoes and green beans, creating a balanced and traditional meal. In the 70s, Salisbury steak often appeared in family restaurants, but was also very popular in home kitchens due to its ease of preparation and familiar, easy-to-eat flavor. It gave the feeling of an out-to-eat meal, but was full of family warmth. The aroma of gravy and beef, combined with the softness of mashed potatoes, created a nostalgic dining experience. This dish was an indispensable part of many people's childhood memories because it evoked Sunday dinners when the whole family gathered together to enjoy delicious meals cooked by Mom. Grilled ribeye with garlic blue cheese mustard sauce. Although it was the 70s, classy dishes like grilled ribeye with garlic blue cheese mustard sauce still had their place. This simple steak gained extra flavor from mustard and blue cheese. The combination with blue cheese sauce elevated the dish, making it an option for special evenings or memorable celebrations. A thick, juicy ribeye steak, perfectly grilled to the desired doneness, then topped with a special sauce made from pungent mustard, rich blue cheese, and fragrant garlic. This combination brought a complex and powerful flavor, elevating a simple steak into a culinary masterpiece. During this period, this dish represented a luxurious lifestyle. It was often prepared for anniversaries, birthdays, or evenings when you wanted to create a special impression. Hungarian chicken paprikash. Chicken paprikash was a traditional Hungarian dish that found its way into American family kitchens in the 70s. Imagine tender chicken pieces, slow-cooked in a rich, creamy sauce, heavily flavored with onions, garlic, and especially paprika powder, giving it a vibrant orange-red color and characteristic aroma. Finally, a touch of sour cream was added to create a rich and smooth sauce. This dish was often served with egg noodles, dumplings, or rice, creating a complete and delicious meal. Chicken paprikash was not just a dish, but also a story of tradition, of recipes passed down from grandmother to mother, carrying the flavors of home and family love. It was the perfect choice for chilly evenings, bringing warmth and comfort. Do you remember the strong aroma of paprika in the kitchen, or the warm and full feeling of enjoying this chicken paprikash? Those were memories of rich tradition and family affection, wrapped in every dish. Gelatin salad, Jello salad. The dish was a bright star of 70s cuisine, a dish that was both dessert and salad, gelatin salad, or Jello salad. This dish was bright, colorful, and jiggly, often combining canned fruits, mini marshmallows, shredded coconut, and sometimes cream cheese or cottage cheese. You would often see Jello salad served with main courses at family dinners, parties, or holidays. This dish allowed for unlimited creativity with all kinds of flavors and colors, often molded in classic copper molds. With its attractive appearance, its presence on the dinner table always drew admiration and discussion. Baked ham with pineapple. And finally, this tender and juicy baked ham, made from boar's head sweet slice boneless smoked ham, was very easy to make for any occasion. It was coated with brown sugar and ham spices, served with warm pineapple preserves. Absolutely delicious. It was very tender, juicy, and rich. Pineapple slices were cut into rounds, the core removed, and then pinned to the ham with toothpicks. Note that while baking the ham, mix pineapple juice and brown sugar in a microwave-safe bowl. Microwave on medium power until the sauce boils and thickens slightly. Then pour half of the sauce evenly over the ham and pineapple rounds, and continue baking to enjoy. If you plan to make this dish for your family, be careful, because the sauce will be very sticky and hot. Among these 25 dishes, which one haven't you eaten in a long time, and which would you most like to enjoy again? Tell us your memories of that dish. Thanks for watching. Did we miss any of your childhood favorites? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this nostalgic journey, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with friends who also grew up in that decade. Thank you for joining us on this nostalgic trip down memory lane. See you in the next video.